Hello there, commanders, and welcome back to National Cup. We are in a deciding battle between China and Spain. Whoever wins this battle is going to advance to the semi-finals as the last fourth seed out of the group stage. It is most likely the Chinese map of choice. I think that was the map that they have found their victory against the Russian team, that other than that one battle is so far undefeated in the tournament. Ukraine, the last remaining undefeated team in the entire tournament, and their battle is the one that we are going to see next after this, and that will be the battle for the first place. But first, this is a more important battle in the larger scope, because it's about who gets out of the group stage at all rather than out of the first or second place. So both teams heavily pushing onto the hill. The Chinese team being a little bit faster, already securing the watchtower and the middle of the hill, but the Spanish team have much more melee units that are already forcing the Chinese units away. Now, no phalanx over here. Vichy as well, so Miltiades, quite an interesting pick. We don't see him that often in this new game mode. As he has definitely lost his popularity over from his wargaming days of glory. And the Spanish cavalry already launching a sneaky attack onto D, but that is going to be stopped by Chinese infantry. And both teams just chilling on the respective cliffside points. Now the China team is going to advance, seeing that there is no Spanish pressure whatsoever, but 5 units committed to defending against technically nothing. That is questionable. They do have an elephant here in the tall grass, which the Chinese team has not. Oh no, they do have this. Wait, ow! They don't have the watchtower. How did they spot him? Set up the dragon. Obviously. See, I was insulted by the Guan Yu crossbows that I was like, yeah, what the hell? Okay, that was my bad. I'll give you that. So the elephant has been forced away from C. And looks like the Chinese team is also going to win the engagement on top of the hill. The elephant for the Spanish team is also dying in there and isn't being used to contest the point. Cavalry is being used to that end. Speaking of cavalry, the Spanish team has elected to take only 3 units of cavalry this time. China still 0 cavalry and 6 units of range. So they're sticking to what hasn't really worked for them in the previous battle, but maybe something that has worked for them in the past, as I don't really remember the entire compositions of each team, but yeah, I think I've seen that combo from the Chinese team before. And they have definitely found some success with that, also successful on this map against the Russians. So they definitely do know that map very well and how to play that. Now they have their attack from E to B has spotted that B is heavily defended. I think that elephant is honestly an overcommitment. 3 units of Leonidas spears, so that is not going to, that's not looking good for the Spanish team. They are going to lose C unless last second cavalry charge. There we go, it reaches the point at the very last second before it becomes captured. Off of perseverance is going to be used, so it is going to bite some time, but Chinese do have their glaives and swords over there. An elephant, instead of getting on top of C, is trying to chase the archers away, trying to maybe buy some time and space for the Spanish team to heal up over behind A. But the Chinese team is also not really pushing their advantage. I mean, the archers are on a pretty forward position. They're not threatened by cavalry at the moment, as the cavalry has been cut down over on C, and one of the cavalry units is going to try to back up E. Very interesting movement there by the Spanish team. China is not. Okay, there we go, there's a spear unit incoming, and well, since it's only 1 unit of cavalry, it's not going to be able to achieve much. So just sitting there, denying the point gain for the time being as long as it can, and now it is going to run away. So if those Leonidas spearmen would have been put over there, provided some pressure instead of just being useless, just being idle, yeah, that is a very questionable tactic by the Spanish team. Not applying the pressure, not keeping within the arm's reach with all their units, and not able to respond to the Chinese pressure with a pressure of their own, even though they have numbers advantage on that flank. So elephant is now going to be shot down by the repeating crossbows. Maybe. There we go. Took them a while to target him. now the Chinese team is possibly looking to launch an attack onto B, as the Spanish spears really do not know what to do as they're running back and forth. Same with the dogs. Now I think the elephant spotted that attack and they're realizing that there's a large Chinese force incoming to B, so the Spanish team is preparing to defend, but with such a numbers advantage on the Chinese team supported by the repeating crossbows, the Spanish team is going to have quite some difficulties defending B. We'll see if that will be successful. In the meantime, the Spanish team is going to launch a counter attack onto D. They do have their Hannibal blob, but they are not using raised shields. They don't have shield screen, but no raised shields. They're just rushing forward, getting wrecked by archers, fighting themselves into glaives. Obviously, Reply finds they do have support of Rebellion. They're not using Portas. There we go, now Portas. Determination, everything being used just before the Vichy has been called, so quite fortunate for them, unfortunate for the Chinese team. And they are nerfing them down with the stick. Well, it is called Puppet Master. There we go, that's just one of the part of that ability. But that didn't really matter, as that Portas and Rebellion are overpowered. Also Caesar buffs as well. And the Hannibal blob is continuing onwards, although it has already lost half of HP mainly to those archers, but now archers are busy dueling the repeating crossbows. And C is being captured by the Spanish cavalry, but the cavalry doesn't have any infantry support, and that just means that as soon as infantry shows up, they need to run away. They should use elephants, as they were always using, to contest the points, and instead they're using cavalry for that, and they're using elephants to defend points, which doesn't really make sense at all. Now they're sending one of the elephants towards C, start buying time, and the Spanish attack on D is going on. Why are you in formed combat? That doesn't make sense again. But the Spanish are most likely going to capture D unless the China can respawn something, but they can't because everything is alive. Now the cavalry finally fighting some charges into the archers very nicely, as the pressure has been provided by the Spanish Melvians. So this is what cavalry can do if they have infantry support. Elephant now finally has been put on C, and they're just going to look at each other and chill. They're respecting each other. No reason to fight there. Oh, there we go. Maybe. Just some lovely taps. Just pet him on his trunk. Oh, the elephant didn't like it. Speaking of which, that elephant also doesn't like being shot by repeating crosses in the back, so he just pieces out of there. Leonidas, he likes being surrounded, but not to that extent, and he also dies, and the Chinese team is going to capture B. Can the Spanish team respond with capturing D? They definitely can. One last unit to get rid of. It is going to stay. It was almost routed, but not quite close enough. They will just need to cut it down. They do have those Hannibal triple spears to just push through and kill them very quickly. So that unit is going to go down, and then the Spanish team is going to capture D, unless that glaive unit can somehow sneak past. That is why you're in formed combat. It still doesn't make any sense, but D is now going to be captured. Yeah, the Chinese team, there is no way they can pull through. See, formed combat makes sense over here, but over here, no. Anyway, B has been captured, and now the Chinese team is sending their repeating crossbows over to C to get rid of that elephant, as well, Germanicus infantry, or rather Sula infantry, doesn't really fancy that matchup that well, and the repeating crossbows will be able to take care of it in a matter of a few volleys. So now the Spanish team needs to heal up over on D, but that healing zone is being denied by the units that they have just left over behind. So really nicely played here by the Spanish team to get the point D, but as they haven't cleared all the units on this flank, as they probably should have, but well, if they couldn't, so getting the point is the best outcome they have possibly hoped for. Now the Spanish Leonidas spears are going to try to push back into B, start contesting that point. Or not, they're just gonna chill on the watchtower and instead go to C possibly, or even D, trying to reinforce that flank. So the Spanish team will be able to finish off a few of the Chinese units that were trying to get in here, but the same may be true for the Chinese if they manage to find some nice volleys. And the infantry is also incoming, trying to cut off the escape for the Spanish team. And the point becomes unlocked in 30 seconds, but the elephants have been respawned over here on D, so they're just going to walk on top of it and prevent any sort of capture by the Chinese team. And the Chinese team still haven't killed the melee units, but now the melee units are just suiciding forward into the embrace of the Chinese spears. One of them is feared, the other one is flanked, so that is the end of them. Elephants also, one elephant has been killed by archers over there. One of them is still contesting the point. Let's see now repeating crossbow duel here around C, as the Spanish team is trying to push forward and get C under their own control. It is definitely possible, as the Chinese team has largely shifted towards D and is now contesting it, sending more and more reinforcements. The healing zones still have not been cleared, there's still archers in the area as well, so only really spawning is available. Speaking of spawning, 23 seconds until the Spanish Hannibal blob respawns, and we'll be able to help defending D. It's not going that well for them. There is still one elephant on top of it, the other one is still healthy and around in the area, but it is being cut down by the archers, and once the archers kill that elephant, they will be able to shift onto the next one, and that will be the end of the Spanish team on the flank. But there come the Spanish spearmen trying to get an attack onto the archers, but they are Hannibal, not hazardable, so no charge available for them. Speaking of charging and getting archers, cavalry is over here. Yeah, doesn't like to go into... or does it? Why? No, go for the archers. They're quite open. Let's go. There we go. That one goes for the archers. Yep. Now get the other one. And that will help your elephants survive. Very nicely played there by the Spanish team, although maybe a little bit too late. But there we go. Unless archers will be cut down. Another sword player has respawned over here, so that will most likely mean that the Spanish will hold on to D for the time being. But can they capture C? There's still no pressure being provided on to B, so the Chinese team feels comfortable with sending units away from B to help C. But one of the units of the Chinese team has been routed there. Can they properly cut it down? Not really, they're not pursuing them, so the dissident will be able to retreat, will be allowed to do that. Another one, freshly healed up, is coming in, but the Spanish team is still in a slight advantage over here. Can they find any reinforcements? The repeating crossbows will be forced away by the Chinese infantry, so are the Chinese crossbows that are being forced away by the Spanish handlers, but handlers are not that strong, and well, without the dogs definitely. They will be cut down by the by the Chinese infantry, while the Spanish don't have any infantry to prevent their repeating crossbows from being chased away. D still contested, but slowly but surely, with the healing and respawning, the Spanish team is going to get it under control. The archers have run away back here to the healing zone provided by C. They have healed up, another elephant is being sent against them. The elephant has not been able to heal. Now this one eats a huge volley in the back. Just look at the amount of arrows sticking out of his legs. But those are two elephants on top of D. Definitely not going down anytime soon. This one will though, as it's being surrounded and shot in the back. And well, the lack of reinforcements coming in here for the Spanish team onto C. They do have a healing zone that is relatively close. They could attack C from multiple sides, but I still haven't really cleared the Chinese units that are in the area here and constantly harassing them, preventing them from healing. This Chinese team is playing really well and wanting to get out of the group stage pretty much in their own tournament. So yeah, that would be definitely a shame for them if they didn't get out of groups. But at the moment, if they keep continuing like this, and they will definitely make it out. And the Spanish team needs to change something. D actually is now being captured. There we go. One last charge of Scipio Oath cavalry managed to get it over the point and hold it, as Hannibal and Sulla are coming in for the Spanish team. But the point is being captured now as the cavalry is being pushed out. The Chinese barely alive units are making it out to meet the Hannibal in the open, and D is going to be flipped, so no healing zone for the Spanish team, but they have respawned 9 units in total over here. So if those 9 units can quickly get out, or rather get rid of all of those Chinese units, then they will be able to get D back under their control. That being said, it's 3.9 points per second for the Chinese team. They could have launched an attack on A if D would be captured by them, but it isn't going to be. So now they're pulling the units away that were attacking A towards D. They probably have banked onto, okay, yeah, we're going to get D, let's attack A as quickly as possible. But that didn't happen in the end. Healing zone still being denied. Miltiades here routing one of the units that were trying to heal with fear. repeating crossbows cannot heal, so they're just trying to make it towards D to help their team over there. But the Chinese team is also responding a shit ton of units over on C. And well, the healing zone over here on C is going to be crucial because it is much closer to D than any of the Spanish healing zones. Spanish is still chilling over here. Yeah, again, respecting each other. No point to contest the point. Why would you ever do that? And Spanish team is investing everything into D, and they have managed to just slightly push out the Chinese team out of D and secure the healing zone for themselves. Repeating crossbows are shooting the Chinese units that are trying to deny the healing zone, but at the moment, no, they do have two players, sorry, that want to spawn in. Or is that just a observer bug? No, I don't think they're on the battlefield. Those two players are just not respawning, they're waiting. Are they waiting for the healing zone to clear up, or have they disconnected possibly? That is very interesting. Oh no, Dogs is here, okay. Oh no, okay, now they have respawned. Yeah, they were waiting, or I have no idea what. Actually, if the Chinese units were when they were on top of the healing zone, and you spawn your own units on top of them, that is devastating for the units that were already there, not the ones that are spawning. Because it's a huge blob of fresh units just surrounding the blue units, right, that would be there. So yeah, I think that was a little bit of a mismanagement there, misinformation, misplanning, whatever you want to call it. Just a mistake by the Spanish team to not spawn there right away, as those were not ranged units that would be immediately killed. There were no pike phalanx in there that would cut them down immediately as well. Those are just regular melee units. Anyway, now the Spanish dogs are chasing away the Chinese archers, or trying to, as they're getting a little bit backed out. I'm gonna go, now the archers are going to run away towards the repeating crossbows, as the repeating crossbows kill down an elephant, well, damage him. And the Chinese team is still very largely denying the healing zone. Finally, Spanish team has decided to contest B. 3 units of Leonidas Spears versus 4 various units from the Chinese 3 different players. C, not contested at all, although some cavalry is being sent over there, maybe in hopes that it isn't protected, but well, the Chinese team is not going to make that mistake. They're not going to get back up like they did last time with D, and they are still conveniently, well, right now they're conveniently ahead by over 1,000 points. Spanish team still constantly pouring out of the healing zone, but as the Chinese were pretty good at denying the healing zone, they are not doing that anymore though, as they have tried to push forward a little bit here to chase away the repeating crossbows. Now the healing zone is available for the Spanish infantry, but previously it was pretty much you need to respawn, you cannot heal for the Spanish team. So really nicely played by the Chinese team, and that is what is keeping them ahead by 100 points. They're just constantly one step ahead of the Spanish team, constantly putting the pressure up on D. And the Spanish team would love to, okay, we captured D, let's go try to capture C now, as we do have that healing zone over here on top of the hill, which is very, very nicely positioned to attack C. But well, they just can't do it because the Chinese team is constantly putting up pressure on D. And as I said, they are one step ahead of the Spanish team. And the Spanish team is trying to push forward to the C healing point, as there is a unit of cavalry that is off in there, but it has now been cut down. They're also sending an elephant over there, trying to give the Chinese a little bit of a taste of their own medicine. Do they have pillar throw to deny the healing, or will they just try to... well, okay. They didn't throw it, maybe they didn't have it, maybe they already used it. Elephant is going to be put on top of C. Well, as the healing has been failed to be denied, now the Chinese team doesn't really have anything to heal, and they do have forces, a lot of forces to deal with whatever the Spanish team is going to send over here. And also the Chinese team are trying to deny the healing over here, but a Spanish Leonidas block now has respawned over here, which means now there's 0 units over here on the right flank for Spanish. So, well, Chinese team, if they so elect to do, they can just walk into the base, but they don't need to. They are only 450 points away from victory, and just ticking slowly, 2 points per second, but slowly but surely. All they need to do is win this one battle. Doesn't matter if they lost the previous one. The tie is going to guarantee them place in the semi-finals. And well, the Spanish team is still desperately trying to do something. The only thing the Spanish team could really do at this point is, well, capture their base. But one cavalry definitely is not going to cut it. They will need to heavily push onto the clear hold Chinese units in the area, then go into the base and somehow win the base capture as well. But Chinese team is definitely not going to let that happen, and still masterfully keep denying the healing zone. That's their pick. Alpes Graya is the Chinese map to go. Apparently, well, there's alternating between Marathon and Alpes Graya, and I think, well, they have found more success on Alpes Graya, but I think they have defeated the Polish team on Marathon as well. So just a good team overall, and that will be their third tie. So they have lost to Ukraine, won against France, and then tied all the other matches with Russia, Spain, and Poland. And that tie with Spain proving crucial, as that was a direct fight for the last fourth spot in the semi-finals. As the Chinese are going to secure a victory in this battle and a tie in the overall match, they are going to go into the semi-finals. In the end, they've also managed to recapture showing their prowess in the end, and, well, sending the Spanish team away home, or rather, well, they're technically home, they're playing from their homes. But yeah, Chinese team proving that losing that previous battle was maybe just a fluke. But, well, Spanish did play a very beautiful battle in the previous round on Teutoburg Forest, previous battle on Teutoburg Forest. Yes, that wasn't enough to carry over here onto the Alpes Graya, as the Chinese strike back and strike their ticket into the semifinals. So now we have all four teams decided who is going to go into the semifinals. Poland 7 points, China 6 points, Spain 5th place 4 points, and France sadly 0, winless in the entire tournament. Now it is between the so far undefeated Ukraine and Russia, who has also found only victories other than just one tie with the Chinese team. So, well, we'll see if the Ukraine can keep it undefeated, or if the Russia can claim the first place and preferential treatment in the semifinals. Though, as we already know, the third and fourth seed, whoever gets first in the group stage is going to face China. Whoever gets second in the group stage is going to face Poland in the semifinals. So Russia, if they win, they will go against China, and China has been so far the only team that has defeated them. So arguably winning for Russia may not be the best choice, but, well, we are definitely up for some really, really good battles between the two best teams in the tournament so far. So, well, I'll see you there, but in the meantime, you can help us bring the war back to the West. And until then, until the Friday, I'll see you on Arena's Battlefields, Commanders.